Hey team, it is Friday afternoon and I wanted to make a quick video for you guys, and I was going to talk a little bit here about time management. I know I asked you guys last week what you feel you struggled in, and a few of you said time management. So I haven't forgotten about you. I've been thinking very long and hard about what I wanted to say, what I could do to help in this area. So I want you guys to take out a piece of paper, pen, if you have a notebook that you do calls, and record notes. This is going to be a short video, but I am going to give you some information. So time management. When you are working network marketing, when you are working a business from home, time management is key. And in order to be successful with this skill, you have to have discipline and consistency. So for those of you that have not read, I want you guys to write down a couple books. GoPro, The Compound Effect, and The Slight Edge. Okay, those are great personal development calls that will help with consistency, with discipline, which will help with time management. So for those of you that have already read it, that is great. I always encourage you guys to go back and read it from time to time, especially GoPro, the few chapters that talk about inviting process, prospecting, and follow-ups. I believe everybody, if you're struggling with that, if you're not adding challengers and if you're not adding coaches, then there's still that skill that can be learned. So with time management, what I've been thinking about over the last week that could really help you guys is not listening to me teach you about it, because yes, I've learned and I've grown in that in the last week or last month or two, but I did that from plugging into professional training. I invested a little bit of my own time, a little bit of my money, to develop that skill. We have team calls, and what I want to really introduce to you guys to help with time management is the Dani Johnson website, her 30-day boot camp. All the tips, there's one topic that's covered each day. It's free. It's 55 minutes. However, the first 10 minutes and the last couple minutes are her introducing herself, talking about whatever training she has coming up in live events. So after you listen to the first one or two, you can easily go in until like 10 minutes in and then start listening, and usually the last 5 to 8 minutes you can quit out on. So smarternetworker.com is what I want you to register. It's a free account, free 30-day. I've already posted on this probably 2 or 3 times, but I cannot stress enough for you guys how much this is helping in time management. And I'll get to that in a minute. So one of my tips is for you guys to set your hours. I know with several of you about this, but I want you to be honest with yourself. How consistent are you guys with this, okay? So I want you to think, can you put an hour in, 2 hours, 3 hours? And then I want you to sit down, and this is my second tip, they kind of go hand in hand. I want you to sit down with your family, anyone that you're living with or would be involved in this in some way, shape, or form. And I want you guys to discuss your work hours. I want you to communicate with your loved ones how important this is and why this is important, and work together so that way they understand that when you're working during that time, it is work. Just as if you were at a job, sit down, had to go somewhere, they can't call you at work whenever they want, they can't see you whenever they want. So the benefit of working from home is you can do it in a shorter amount of time and still make a full-time income. But you and the family needs to treat it like that. So whatever time it is, whether you get up early in the morning, an hour early, you stay up an hour later, whether it's on your lunch hour, during the kids' nap time, whenever it is, set those hours and stick to them, even on the weekends. I get up and I do mine from 9 to 11 or 9 to noon. Sometimes I'll get up and do it from 7 to 10, but they're set and they're during hours where I know my family wouldn't have something planned, but it's going to be different from person to person. So set your hours, tip number 1, and then tip number 2, talk about them with your family. Get them involved. I promise that will make things so much more successful and easier on you. If you have kids, that are of age that can chip in a little bit with chores, that would be a great thing to talk about, because if you can really make this work for 1, 2, 3 years, and then in that 3 years be able to work part-time but yet make a full-time income, how amazing would that be? If you thought about what you're doing right now in your 9 to 5 job, can you make enough income to be able to still do the things that you want to do, including have time for family and certain things that are outside goals? If you're a stay-at-home mom, obviously if you're not working, you're not going to reach some of those financial goals that you and your family might have. So involve your family in that planning, so that way they understand why you want to do this and how it's going to help them over a period of time. So again, set hours, talk to your family about those hours, and maybe some strategies that would allow you free time if you're really saying, I don't think I have the time for this. I can't, maybe I have a half an hour, an hour. I guarantee you can probably sneak in an extra half an hour somewhere on some of the days if you would talk to your family, if you would cut out TV shows, if they maybe helped out with a few more things. That family sacrifice for a year or two can significantly outweigh the rest of your lives. And then number 3 for time management is plugging into that smarternetworker.com, okay, through Dani Johnson. Because how that relates to time management is she teaches you how to invite, how to prospect, how to follow up with somebody, and how to close someone like that. 10 to 15 minutes. She teaches you those tools better than I could, better than some of our training through Beachbody could, because she is the professional. She is the expert. So we need to be plugging into things like that to help us learn what we need to learn quicker, better, more effective, efficient. So how would you like to be able to hold a conversation for 10 or 15 minutes and close somebody, compared to working on it on and off throughout the day or several days, or having to follow up a couple days later because you didn't properly close somebody and get them in your challenge group and figure out their goals? How long is it taking you guys to talk to a potential coach on and off for several days, and then the time you spend following up with them? Think of how frustrated you are. What happens if you learn training daily for 1 month that could make that time down, which is time management? When you start growing your team, instead of talking to them for an hour and teaching them things like this, what happens if you could spend a half an hour doing that, giving them the resources to plug into training so they could be more effective getting started right, than you having to spend more hours and fumbling through things? How much time would that save you? So instead of talking to someone for an hour during the work week away from your family, you could talk to them for a half an hour, give them the resources that is guaranteed to give them that income, to reach those goals, to give them that professional training. Would you not do that to save time for both you and them, plus double your income? So that's what I'm learning, and that's my advice to you guys on time management, is helping to teach you guys the most important resources to go to first to manage your time in all aspects, in coaching, in bringing in challengers, in leading a team, in learning all those different communication and managing your time appropriately. So those are my tips. I hope they've helped. I'm not sure if it's quite what you guys were looking for, but I hope that it helps you guys. If you have questions, please post below. I am going to start this month 2 different trainings, okay? So as a leader, I am going to run these for you, okay? So think about time management. I am going to help train your new coaches if you want, and if your coaches are on board, so that way you guys can plug into that Dani Johnson 30-day boot camp, so you have more time to learn and build your skills, because it's all about building your skills and where you're weak, okay? And if you guys are not filling challenges every month, if you are not yet to Emerald and Diamond. If you are not adding a couple coaches every month, you are lacking skills. And I don't mean to say that in any way, it's just the truth. And that's where I was at. And when I've been plugged in to more of these professional trainings, I have been adding 5 coaches in 3 weeks. I have been filling my challenge groups and even able some months to run 2 challenge groups, which means more people that I'm helping, which means more towards my financial goals. So I'm going to run for all of you who are not Emerald yet. That is a huge stage. We'll talk about that in another video. I am going to run a 2-week boot camp for you guys to help get you. It is so easy to get to Emerald. It's not this big scary goal. So I'm going to help run that for you to teach you a little bit more in depth. And then for those of you that are already Emerald and ready to get this started, I am going to run a 3-week to Diamond group. Again, it's not meant to be a big scary thing. It's about doing the necessary skills daily, consistently to get you there. If you think about your business hours and how much time you spend on that, I don't care if it's 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 80% of that time needs to be spent not on organizing and making forms, not on developing, reinventing the wheel. Do not put your ego aside. Do not reinvent things. Use things that have been used for you, okay? 80% of whatever time you set aside is meant to do the activities that will move your business forward. Your business being moved forward is going to be by networking, building relationships, inviting for challenges, inviting for the opportunity of coaching. You should be inviting several people daily for challenges, daily, Saturday, Sunday. It is not a big scary thing, and I think where too many of us are thinking of it is, oh my gosh, I'm too afraid. Get over it. 30-day boot camp will help you get over it, I promise you. I am inviting 3 people, and I'm presenting at least once every day, okay? So my numbers have blown up. Get over it. Get over your ego. Plug into this training. This is the #1 training I am recommending for you guys. It can be huge. So 80% you need to be spending on building those relationships and inviting. 18% is on training your coaches. Only 18%. Why? Because there's already training out there. You need to get them plugged in, and that is why I'm telling you guys, and me as a leader, this is me telling you, I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. We need to be learning from an expert, and this is what I'm recommending, okay? We'll spend Zooms and our team calls as my 18% helping clarify things and building things up and brainstorming with you guys, okay? So I hope this has helped. SmarterNetworker.com. Get plugged in. Comment below if you are in for the Emerald group, and comment below if you're in for the Diamond group, and we'll talk about our start date and a little bit more details. I promise you guys, plug into this, and you are going to reach those goals no matter what they are in a shorter amount of time, in less work. I promise you guys. I really cannot emphasize. You will learn through the training success stories, and I can tell you already my income 300% more, okay? So have a great weekend, guys. Comment below, and I'll talk to you soon.